A very good afternoon to Professor T. Satyanarayana sir, Dr. Shashi S. Narayana ma'am, Professor Arvind Deshmukh sir, researchers and teachers from all over India, various universities and colleges, my own friends and colleagues from various colleges from University of Delhi, and my dearest students. I am Dr. A. Archana, Associate Professor of Microbiology at Swami Shraddhanand College, and I have the honor of serving in this tenure as the President Delhi Unit of MSI. Today we are organizing a lecture by Professor T. Satyanarayana, who has been my guide and mentor, and I have now known him for 30 years, and I have been continuously learning from him and ma'am more and more. That is why I thought we will organize his talk for the benefit of one and all who are attending this lecture, and later on also it will be available on YouTube. So anytime one can refer to what Sir guided in all the directions. This lecture is being organized under the aegis of Microbiology Society, which was established in 1996. The current All India President, Professor Deshmukh, is with us, and I will request him to start the program very soon. So, this society is benefiting and helping the microbiologists in many ways, like organizing scientific lectures, like webinars these days, then providing the much needed job opportunities and the summer training opportunities, then guidance for higher studies in India and abroad, all the vacancies and how to go about it, and also the know-how of the startups related to microbiology and many more. Recently, MSI, in conjunction with High Media, had honored the COVID warriors, a force mobilized by Mr. Shyam Patil of Maharashtra, which served for the cause of humanity in the COVID handling, the testing part and all. So those COVID warriors were awarded mementos and certificates in a virtual meet like this. Soon the Delhi unit is going to start its students unit. We will inaugurate it soon and we will keep you posted. Today's program, dear audience, today's program is in a format which is innovative. There are 6 sections and 3 of Sir's PhD students who are now faculty at University of Delhi. They will be doing in an interactive way with Sir. The first 2 portions will be dealt by Dr. Vandana Gupta of Ramlal Anand College, University of Delhi. The 3rd and 4th will be dealt with by Dr. Ashima Vora from Institute of Home Economics, University of Delhi, and the last 2 by myself. So we will start soon. But before that, I would like to request Professor Arvind Deshmukh sir to address the August gathering and greet Dr. T. Satyanarayana. It is only due to his encouragement and faith in us that we are able to get such programs for all of you. Over to you, Deshmukh sir.
Thank you, madam. At the outset, I would like to express my thanks to Dr. T. Satyanarayana, because in old days of microbiology, or we can say old generation of microbiology, the way sir is there, I am also representative of old generation. Dr. T. Satyanarayana is a stalwart in old generation. And probably younger generation of microbiology in India may not be knowing the contribution, hard work, sincerity, and dedication to the subject by all these old stalwarts. So one by one we are calling, and I am more happy they are responding. Recently, Dr. T. Satyanarayana's name appeared as a top 2% in the world list prepared by a few scientists from Stanford University, USA. So it is one part. But really speaking, as I'm in contact with him from 20 years. I know him. I know his work, contribution, the scientific value of his research paper and everything. And many times he behaved like a hard rock. He is well known for it. But he never compromised for the subject. So, I am thankful to you, sir. Today you are here. I don't know the young generation how far they will understand. We will try to simplify. We will try to reach up to the level of students. But definitely they will get inspired. They will get encouraged by observing the today's discussion. They may not participate in asking question, but they will observe us and they will learn many things. So again, it's time for me to salute your dedication toward the subject, your love and simplicity of your living. So all these things are together with you. I must thanks Mrs. Satyanarayana, because I know that without Mrs. Satyanarayana, probably you would not have achieved today's goal or today's position. Thank you very much, Archana ma'am. Thank you again. And you can continue for a feast. It's academic feast to the student. Thank you again.
Good afternoon, Professor. For your comments and introduction. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Now, I would like to request Dr. Shalini Sen, who is Sir's Professor Satyanarayana's second PhD student, senior. I'm the third one. So she was my immediate senior. She is serving at Sri Venkateshwara College, University of Delhi. So may I now request Dr. Shalini to introduce Sir to the august audience, please.
Thank you so much, Archana, and it's indeed a pleasure and an honor to do this. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce our esteemed speaker, Professor T. Satyanarayana, my PhD supervisor, and a scientist who has ranked 260th in India and 580th worldwide for scientific publications by Elsevier and Stanford University. Professor Satyanarayana pursued his BSc from Andhra University and both MSc as well as PhD from Sagar University. He pursued his postdoctoral research from the National Institute of Applied Sciences in Toulouse, France. Dr. Satyanarayana served as a professor at the Department of Microbiology, University of Delhi, South Campus, for 28 years till June 2016, after which he was UGC BSR faculty professor till 2019. He went on to become Professor Emeritus and is currently an adjunct professor at the Department of Biological Sciences and Engineering, Netaji Subhash University of Technology, New Delhi. Dr. Satyanarayana has extensive teaching as well as research experience spanning 44 years, focusing on various aspects of thermophilic fungi and bacteria, especially thermostable microbial enzymes. Sir has guided 38 MSc dissertations, 3 MPhil dissertations, and has mentored 30 PhD scholars. He continues to mentor research scholars even today. He has successfully completed research projects with funding from all the leading funding agencies such as DBT, DST, UGC, CSIR, ICAR, not to mention some international collaborations such as the Indo-US Advanced Biofuel Consortium project. He also collaborated with Dabur Research Foundation for developing a process to produce Asab and Arist range of liquid Ayurvedic tonics, which led to the grant of a process patent. His research endeavors have translated into his authoring 11 books, 182 scientific papers, 95 reviews and book chapters, 3 patents, and 23 popular science articles. Dr. Satyanarayana has been a member of the editorial board of BioResearch resource technology, and other leading publications, and has edited several books published by the Kluwer Academic Publishers, Netherlands, and Springer Nature. Dr. Satyanarayana has had many awards conferred upon him, which include Dr. G.B. Manjrekar Memorial Award of AMI for significant contributions to the field of microbiology, Dr. V. Agnihotridoo Memorial Award of MSI for distinguished contribution to mycology, and Malviya Memorial Award of BRSI for outstanding contributions in microbial and enzyme biotechnology. Sir is a life member of several societies, such as the AMI, the Indian Science Congress Association, and others, and a fellow of the National Academy of Agricultural Sciences, again, among others. Dr. Satyanarayana has been instrumental in organizing several conferences, such as the International Conference on Thermophiles in 2001, International Conference on Microbial Diversity 2005, to name a few. In addition to this, he has essayed the role of an administrator as head of the Department of Microbiology, University of Delhi South Campus for several years, and as chairman of the Committee of Courses of the Department of Microbiology. He was also Deputy Dean, Student Welfare, South Campus for close to 6 years. I know this is a lot to absorb for our audience, but my effort has been to introduce to you a scientist, an author, an administrator, and above all, an individual who has pursued his passion for science relentlessly. He shall soon share his journey with us. And to that, I can only add that we, his students, are witnesses to his spirit of giving himself wholeheartedly to his profession. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Shalini.
Thanks.
And this is a very brief introduction. We worked upon it yesterday. And this is the brief. Sir's volume of work is really immense, and we are very proud to be his students. Now, I would like to request Sir to start. And we have 6 sections and 2 sections by each of his students, Dr. Vandana, Dr. Ashima, and myself will be taken in that order. And I would like to request all of you to remain on mute except the person who is speaking. Thank you. So, Dr. Vandana?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Archana. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to have sessions or to hold sessions with Dr. T. Satyanarayana. He has always been an inspiration for all of us, and he is the epitome of knowledge. And also, I would like to mention here that the time that he follows for his class, like 9 o'clock means 9 o'clock, whatever happens, he is always there. These values we have got from him. He has inculcated so many good values in all of us. Thank you, sir, for doing so. And you are always there for us. Anytime we can call you up and ma'am and discuss whatever we want to. Thank you so much for being there for all of us. So first of all, I would like you to throw some light on professional journey and the challenges faced as a researcher as well as a group leader by you.
Thank you so much, Professor Deshmukh, and the unit of MSI President, Dr. Archana, and all of you. Because of you only, all this is made possible. My journey in research started in 1974 under the guidance of and mentorship of Professor Johri. I was asked to work on a topic called fungistasis. That was for 1 year, part fulfillment of the specialization. But that year itself, my first publication came in 1974. Then after getting doctorate, I had a chance to work initially on antibiotics of thermophilic fungi particularly. And my work mostly has been on enzymes of microorganisms, particularly the extremophilic organisms like thermophiles and alkylophiles, acidophiles, etc., those which grow under these special conditions where many organisms cannot survive. Then initially, I joined the Department of Microbiology in 1988. we started working with the limited facilities. We worked on amylase. It was done by Dr. K.R. Babu, who is now in US, working for an industry. Then later on continued with other enzymes as well. And work started where Vandana has worked on the project, that is from DBT on ectomycorrhizal fungi. We're developing technology for inoculum development. We collected cultures, then subsequently a lot of work has been done on that. Then we had a project from DST to work in a collaboration with Dabur Research Foundation, that is on Asava and Arista range of liquid tonics, Ayurvedic tonics. Then that really helped me in developing the facilities, both projects, one from DBT on ectomycorrhiza, second one, project from DST, this is through DRF, Dabur Research Foundation. Then subsequently, anyway, initially we worked on only isolation of organisms, selecting the best for any purpose that we wanted to, enzyme or whatever. Then we tried to develop the methods for production, optimization, etc. And then characterization of the products by extensive purifications to homogeneity. Number of enzymes have been purified and they have been published, characterized, and all characters are published in different journals. Then came the time to collaborate with even foreign workers. I'll talk more about it in the next section. They once again helped us to acquire new skills. This is very essential to be able to survive in the field because there is very, very, very serious competition. Unless we adapt well, it is not possible to do good quality work and publish in international journals. That's the reason why one has to change by good planning. Then later on, we worked also in the area of metagenomics, where we were trying to find out genes that code for alkaline protease, alkaline xylanase with thermostability. Then there were not many known enzymes at that time, 1908 or so. Then we thought of getting the gene that codes for this enzyme from metagenomes. We use a number of samples from extreme environments where two conditions are present: high alkalinity and thermostability, meaning higher temperature. We collected a lot of samples from all over the country. Then we tried to extract DNA, get the gene that goes for it, and we later on we expressed it, characterized it thoroughly, and then proved its applicability for particularly pulp bleaching. We tried that; it worked very well. And the person who worked in the project, Dr. Who is working now as a lecturer, assistant professor at Ambedkar University. 1 minute. I'm not able to get the word anyway. His name, you know his name. So then later came the projects on production of phytages that started very early, and later on got projects from different agencies that allowed me to the development of facilities so that we can go ahead with the different, on different aspects of the work that we have been doing. That was pretty good. And most of the work was done by students. My job was only arranging money, mentoring the facilities, and also guiding them what to do, how to do. But at the same time also look for newer political aspects which must be done so that published worthiness improves of the papers. And then I also had chances of working with a good well-known laboratory in National Institute of Applied Sciences, Toulouse, where I picked up fermentation technology. So a very well-known biochemical engineer, Dr. Goma. Then I came back in 1987 and joined the university in 1988. The rest is all I have already spoken. So research was on various aspects, particularly of enzymes, of extremophiles, growing under extreme conditions. Then several projects have been developing facilities and continuing the work on various aspects of these only. Thank you so much for this point. Right, the guidelines are advice to young researchers and the inventors or supervisors is that they have to constantly reading, understand in what directions work is going on, so that you plan your work and then you'll be able to do something new. Unless there is some novelty, it is not possible to publish. So one should look for that novelty. That comes only by due planning, due thinking, and reading extensively, attending conferences, trying to listen to people, and then get the ideas and then implement them.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really nice to actually, we have some idea, but it will be like still there were many things which were new to us. We didn't know all aspects of your journey as students. The second section would be, or the second question that I want you to answer is that please share with us your experiences as a research guide and supervisor, of course, and the tips to give to guides and students.
It has been a long journey for supervising and mentoring students is concerned. Anything was possible because of a combination of ideas and work of the scholar. Both have been there. That's how we're able to do something meaningful, which is appreciated and published. So that's what is more important is that one should continue working, and at the same time also absorb new ideas. That comes only by reading extensively, listening to experts, and thinking. Then we should make students all the developments, and then encourage them to read, come up with new ideas, and then student is working in a particular topic. Where I work on a number of topics. There are 7 students, 7 different topics, related ones. So the students should be constantly reading and understanding what more can be done in addition to what is being done in our laboratory. If we just only stick to only the work that's going in our laboratories to get the degree, that doesn't help in publishing. Nobody would publish. First point any reviewer asks is, what is the novelty in your work? When I send a paper, read the manuscript, I first think about that. What is new that I want to tell, which is not there in the already published literature, either reviews or the original papers. With that only, in fact, you just push it to the review. See, the editorial board, editor first looks into the paper, and if you think there is something worthwhile, then he sends it to some other editor who looks after that particular field, and then he will choose people who will assess and then find out there is something for to publish. Then comes an improvement from based on the comments of the reviewers. That's very well known for all of you have done. All of you have done that. Whereas youngsters, only I would like to suggest is that read, discuss, and tell your supervisor what you are doing, what has been done, what are the problems. Not at the end, just before submission. Often it so happens that students and the supervisor discuss only at the end. See, at the end, the teacher can't help. Time is limited. So if it is someone constantly we are in touch with, and then have presentations very often in the laboratory or in the department, that helps in assessing ourselves and then push ahead and go ahead. Unless we do that, it is not possible for any student to do any quality work. But it is a combination of both supervisor and the student. More from the student as far as work is concerned, and supervisor only giving suggestions and then encouraging student.
Thank you so much, sir. I would invite Dr. Ashima to preside over the next sessions. Dr. Ashima.
Thank you, Dr. Vandana. Thanks a lot. Okay, it is my honor and privilege to be a part of this interactive session where the speaker is a person whom I've always looked up to and have immense respect and regard. I have been fortunate enough to be a small part of his inspirational journey as his PhD student. So Professor Satyanarayana, as our supervisor, always encouraged us to participate more and more in scientific conferences interact with the academicians, with the scientists, with the industry people to generate new ideas and develop collaborations. So I would request him to throw some light on how relevant is collaboration in research.
Collaboration is very essential. The reason being that one cannot work on various aspects of the same topic, like we have worked on 5 days. We have learned from others. We went on also talking to others, telling them what we have been doing through papers, reviews, or chapters, whatsoever. Right? Collaboration helps in acquiring using new skills, which I do not have, which we do not have. So then you can create something, whole one, not single unit. You have to combine together number of units. I'll tell you one example. We didn't have any facilities in the laboratory to study the usefulness of phytase in our laboratory. In pisciculture, fish cultivation, fish culturing. Then we have to look for someone who can help, a man who has experience of animal physiology and fishes. He has to grow them in the tanks or whatever, open tanks or closed tanks. And that's where we have sought the assistance of Professor from Pantnagar, and also other one to work on the utility of enzyme in chicks, poultry. So these enabled us to check whether enzyme is useful or not for the purpose for which we were trying. See, talking in air is not sufficient. Nobody would listen. Please show the data. So that is one example. Other one also to develop technology or process for making Asava range of tonics. There you were there very much that time. We had money from DST as well as the industry, DRF, Services Foundation. That helped us to get a lot of yeasts from various, very well-known materials used in making Asava and this range of tonics. Then that's where we got one strain that produced phytase. We don't know, where to get help, where to get ideas. Then, we have perfected techniques of protein purification. Then if you want to produce in a very, economical manner, essential to clone and overproduce, because strains produce phytase only for their purpose, for getting or obtaining phosphorus from organic phosphorus sources. But then if you want to produce in large scale, you have to clone. Once you have the recombinant strain, you can always develop the process for producing it. Then we were working in the area of metagenomics, where we have to get a gene from environmental DNA. DNA is plenty. You get several gigabytes of gigabases of DNA. Selecting wherever gene is not very easy. It needs special skills, special facilities, and expertise. That's where I developed a collaboration with very well-known Professor Kawara Bayashi of Japan, where Digvijay Verma worked. So that's how we developed gradually facilities for cloning the genes. Genes from organisms are easy because now we have all genomes available. We can easily generate primers and pull out the gene. In case of phytase, what you have to do was, we didn't have that kind of genome sequence available for Pichia anomala. As a result, we have to find out now the constant sequence. Then based on the generated primers, and then by primer exchange, pulled out the gene. It was easy. But we had the expertise and help of Professor Kunche. Professor Kunche specialized in Germany in the area of cell biology and molecular biology. That's where Parvinder worked. They were not to clone a gene for phosphatase as well as phytase. She helped them doing that. But gradually we acquired skills, developed facilities, then we cloned a number of genes, expressed them in both E. coli as well as Pichia pastoris. All that was possible because of collaboration. I didn't know much about, theoretically, yes, not hands-on experience. So that's where we needed collaboration. That helped us in doing the work, what we have done in the last, at least 10 years or so, starting from 2008 to 16. So collaboration is a must for success and to be able to do something significant, which is useful. That's where the collaboration helps. And you want one more point, I'm not able to hear.
Ashima, you have to unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So your experience clearly shows that yes, collaboration at various levels, whether it's interdepartment or inter-institute or between the institute and the industry, plays a vital role in expansion of research and developing, generating new ideas. Thank you so much, sir. So continuing with the session, we all know publishing research papers is an integral part of the research. And we are very proud of the fact that Professor Satyanarayana has around 182 scientific papers and lots of publications and chapters in book. So research papers not only give you recognition, but they're also a platform to share your research with everyone. So, sir, the audience would like to know what is the relevance or how significant it is to publish your research.
You see, unless we publish, people will not know what we have done. So it is very essential. I always stress that publishing at least 2-3 papers before a student completes PhD or immediately after completing the PhD. Then tend to try to develop skills of writing, chapters in books, and reviews in journals. Those are the ones which develop the skills of writing. So number one, for developing the skills of students, writing scientific papers published in journals, and chapters in books, and reviews in journals. You yourself published one paper, one review, that is in critical reviews in biotechnology, which has been read by 500 people. Till today, I get every week at least 1 or 2 citations. See, that is possible mainly because I put in a lot of hard work. Hard work, not only publishing papers, but chapters as well as reviews in journals. So in fact, reviews in journals get a lot of citations, not the papers. And papers are plenty, not 1 or 2. Fight is now in central, a lot of people are working all over the world. So essential to publish the work. And work, also should be published worthy. If you choose a journal, if that journal, doesn't publish articles of that nature, they won't publish. They will just write a paper. So choosing journal is very important. One should understand the trends, of papers published in that journal or in journals. Then choose the journal. Before that, you have done good work with novelty. So you have written the paper. But then publish whether it depends on the trend of publication in the journal. That is very essential. So for doing the work, you have to do work very hard. Always work on newer aspects so that publish witness improves. After doing the hard work, where the mentor tries to develop the laboratory, maintains facilities, it's not so easy to get funding. It was never easy. We have to prove our worth initially, then only they consider for funding. After getting funding, laboratory is there, students work. After working, you have to publish, don't get recognition. Wherever you go for your selections as lecturers or researchers, they will ask for publications. And nowadays, they tend to ask on patents. I'll come to it a little later about that one. But for that also, one needs to have work extensively and then find out what is unique in your work. Then only you can submit a patent. You have the experience of doing that. So writing paper, publishing is extremely essential for anybody's survival, let's say.
True.
For lecturer now, must have PhD, that's a condition now. And wherever you go, there is competition. Someone with more papers in good journals, he would be selected if the selection board is objective. That condition is there, objective or subjective, whatever is there. So I remember once, Mahesh went for an interview for SRF to CSIR. He was very much satisfied, very happy, published 2, 3, 4 papers or so. When he went and talked to the people there from other institutions, he was aghast. He said, "You're published in the JBC, Journal of Bacteriology." So good journals. And we were only working on fermentation journals where we don't have very high impact factors. Now it is better. Like biotechnology has about 7.3 or so. But that wasn't there in that time. So he was, aghast. He came and told me, sir, this is the situation. I said, you feel proud that you have published 3 papers, but you don't know that. Right? That comes only, through hard work, and then, writing, choosing right journal, writing in a proper way,
Right.
to bring out very clearly what is the novelty of the work. Then only it is possible to publish in a journal with impact factor. All that is essential to be able to publish.
Right. Thank you so much, sir, for such explaining so well the significance of publishing your research, the novelty of your research. That is very, very important to publish a research paper. Okay, so I would like to now ask Dr. Archana to take forward the session. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Ashima. And the session is really going on great. A lot of clarity is there. Sir is explaining to everybody, and we are very happy about everybody benefiting from his experience. So now we will go to the 5th section or question. And sir, besides having published so well your work, you have some nice patents also to your credit. So I now request you to talk about some of your patents and also share with us your journey of the creation of intellectual property and your new inventions, sir.
Right. If you have any something new, novelty, not yet found in any journal or else any book or in any review article, that is published only, your own property. If you have done hard work, developed the process or product, if you patent it, meaning if you get IPR, intellectual property right, then you can sell it. That was the time, then Mashelkar, Dr. Mashelkar, CSIR Director General, he used to stress always on developing patents. Whatever you work, if there is something new, if it is worthy of patenting, go ahead for patenting. Institutions also have started supporting, but not to the level that is required. So for doing the work, filing a patent, you need money. Without patent, you can't sell the technology to any company. It has been too difficult to sell. We have tried a number of times. It wasn't so good to transfer the technology. But patents, yes, the work on phytase was the second one. First one was on process for producing Asava and Arista range of tonics by using yeast strains that we isolated and selected. So in the technology that they have been using, for example, Dabur or any other Ayurvedic company, so what they used to take 40 days or so to produce these products using yeasts. Yeasts only are meant for producing ethanol, alcohol, that extracts important components for any treatment from the plant materials. So that's where they contacted us and developed a project through DST. We did a lot of work where the Ashima was involved. Ashima and Sanjeev both were involved. And then they said, okay, we must patent the process. So then we approached the patent attorneys, discussed with them, prepared document, and it was filed. And after 3-4 years, it was examined, finally granted a patent. So patenting, having right, you are right, and the work that you have done, your novelty, novel finding must be there. Otherwise, you cannot have any rights over that one. So essential to patent the work that you have done, new work that you have done, which can be easily converted into process or else technology.
True, sir. Patenting protects the work and also makes it available to the deserving users in a controlled and positive manner. So we are very happy that you have done some of it and you told the importance and your journey, sir. Thank you. So the last
one point.
Yes, please. Yes.
See, there was a lot of stress as long as Dr. Mashelkar was the Director General of CSIR. But unfortunately, if you are not able to sell, the people who granted the money, who gave the money, they will ask, develop technology, nobody is asking, nobody is prepared to take it. In that case, you spend money first for filing the patent, for doing the work, followed by filing the patent, and then getting it examined. All that requires money for maintaining patent. For example, you have a culture, you have to register in at least the deposit 2 culture collections, then get the number. And later on, you have to pay money so that they maintain it without taking money. They sell the culture, they will not sell the culture, they have to maintain it. For that, you have to pay every year some money.
Yeah.
You need a lot of money to do all that. And if there is no buyer, there's no point in making products at the process. That's what government often tells.
True.
But then we have to have generate. HR is very important. Human resource development, not just technologies. See, unless we have, the facilities, maintenance of, laboratories, etc., equipment, it's not possible to do the work. How students get the degree? How will they be trained? All of them are employed in India or elsewhere. That's because they have done work good enough and they develop skills. So for skill development and having the right over it, IPR is very important.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for the enlightenment that we all got. So the last segment in this session is that a modern day researcher enjoys a lot of benefits, conveniences like the efficient tools of research, like greater access to information, etc., which were not available way back, 30, 40 years back. They are freely available now. But at the same time, having said that, they are also facing huge challenges. Lots of challenges, hard challenges, newer challenges, and it is like never before. Too much tough competition is there. And sir, in the present challenging research environment, which qualities do you think a good researcher should imbibe and maintain to carry out efficient, meaningful, and socially useful research, sir?
For all that, what must we do? Put in a lot of hard work. Right? If necessary, one has to stay, whether one likes or not. And that we have seen in our laboratory itself, girls or boys used to stay in the night to continue the experiments on growth, etc. Right? That should be prepared to. And then, as I already said, absorbing new ideas and how to use it in your work is more important. Not just learning and not using it, but essential to learn and at the same time how to use it for one's own research. If one doesn't do that, it is not possible, to whatever one wants to achieve. For achievement is essential. It's not being heard.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And we all can vouch for it that you have been always practicing before you told us these things. Like we always say to each other, there's no substitute of hard work, and we are actually quoting your words and we are remembering you when we utter these words to each other. So that is the thing, and a lot of sustained hard work. And I would like to add that when I was doing my PhD in our times, internet was not so much available. So we used to visit the libraries physically. And when we used to go there, we used to find you there. So sometimes you used to start the day from the libraries, then get back to the lab and then start your work, taking your classes or guiding the research. So you said right, sir. And sir, maybe with the new access, like bigger, greater access to the information, like now we can get a paper at the click of a button. So sometimes students, I have seen, they take it for granted. So it is not so much hard earned like it used to be. So anything else that you would like to guide them, that how they should plan their work on a consistent basis and anything of that sort, sir?
One important point, I don't know whether I should do for this or for the other question. One is that, for a long time, we used to do the work, publish in society journals. They never used to charge us. If the quality is good, they used to publish. All of you have experienced that one. Now the present is open access, meaning you have to pay for publishing the book. Unfortunately, that culture is not there in institutions in India, or even the project providing agencies also do not pay that for that kind of money. So now, for example, I'll tell you, we published 2 papers, 2 reviews, in fact, in Frontiers in Microbiology. I initially told them I don't have money to pay. So then they published, and then they said, send money. Every 2 days they send me back. I just ignore that. So nowadays, essential to also generate resources, which is very good to pay for publishing your work. Nature takes now $10,000 per article. Nature. So unless you have that money, you will not be able to publish. You need government assistance or agencies that give you money for your work. So it's a big problem now, generating money to be able to publish. Besides doing good quality work, writing your paper with a lot of inputs and a lot of hard work, you need money for publishing. See how tough it is. So publication is also money. Unfortunately, I have not paid single penny to anyone so far for publishing my work. Based on the quality, they appreciate and published. But then later on, okay, they are probably you may be asked to pay some money. So that is the problem now with publishing.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. So we will be opening the session for question answers, and we will allow anybody who would like to ask either to write, either we request them to write in the chat box, or we will allow them to unmute and ask yourselves. But before that, a very, very important portion is left close to our hearts that we would like, on behalf of all the audience and students and Deshmukh sir, everybody taken together, I would like to request Dr. Shashi ma'am, sir's better half, to address us, to tell us about how sir has been. Of course, we know he is a very fine human being, extremely fine, but we would like to know, ma'am, from you, and we here would like to put on record our gratitude to you as well, ma'am.
I would like to thank all the students and also my wife, because of whom I could do the work. Without that help, providing what we call petrol, it's not possible to work. That she used to plan well and then support me. That's how I could do whatever. So assistance and help from the partner is very, very important to be able to do some quality work and put it forward.
Yes, ma'am. Please, ma'am.
Can I? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Archana, Professor Deshmukh, Ashima, Vandana, Shalini, all of you all. Thank you so much for having me over here. Yeah. And Archana, you'll have to repeat your question once again, my dear.
Ma'am, you could tell us about the kind of a person sir is in life, in all his roles. And also, we are grateful that you empowered him to deliver these nice goods for the society, for the students, and for everybody. And ma'am, you tell us your views about sir and anything you would like to say about him, ma'am. Yeah.
Well, I think most of you have already described him. I don't have anything more than what you've already said. He's a very, very transparent, clear, clean human being. He is the same in and out. Very, very straight, sometimes straight to a fault. And I think he's a very honest human being, genuine, very sensitive, very caring, and sometimes very, very rigid in his views. And it works well sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't work very well. As a wife, I say sometimes it doesn't work very well, because if he says he has a class at 1:30 and I tell him you come have lunch, he will say no, I will come only after the class, and the class I don't know when it gets over. So sometimes rigidity doesn't work, but most of the times it has worked in his favor, perhaps not in the other person's favor. Yeah.
And also, ma'am, sir has been very supportive for your professional growth, and we could make that out, ma'am.
Absolutely. See, I don't think I have played a very, a role that is very different from the role played by other wives or partners of men. I think we are all very supportive. It's all there in our make as women. We are all very supportive. We can do multitasking, and we all provide the actual space and the environment at home for the men to do their work better. So I don't really think, I think most of us do this as wives.
Yeah. Ma'am, we would like to thank you for all your nice values, principles, love, support, care, and people like the boys, the students who were mostly boys who were not from Delhi, they were remaining here in a room, in a PG. So you never let them be homesick, and you were always involved, both of you were always involved in our well-being of our families, and it goes a long way to be able to peacefully carry out meaningful work, ma'am and sir.
Archana, I think it's always been a two-way street. You say that I've been very giving, and I say you guys have also been very giving. The lab was like an extended family to me, and it added, I think it helped because we were living in the campus, so you guys could come home and have a chat, have a chai or a coffee. So it was all like an extended family, and I reciprocated because you guys were so good, so respectful, and so caring, and it was a two-way street. So thank you all very much for being what you guys are, and continuing to being what you are. You were, rather.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. It means a lot, and we have this family as well. This is also just like our original blood related family. Same here, and you're really fortunate because you both of you created that ambience, accessibility, the kindness. So really, no words to describe, and thanks a lot, ma'am. So we have come to an end of these 6 sections. Now there are a few questions in the chat box, and so I have got a few questions, and from the YouTube channel, which is not displaying here, some questions are here. So I will just start. The importance of joining national and international association career-wise.
Main advantage is that you get a chance platform to say what you have done, and also get the comments from the experts there. As a result, there is a chance for improving oneself. Unless one presents his or her work, listens to the experts, he or she will not be very sure of what he's achieving or doing. It's essential to participate in conferences, national or international, whatever, interacting with people, getting to know what others are doing, and what else we can do. For that, you need to go for conferences. Deshmukh has been there in a number of conferences. He's organizing now in different countries, in Nepal and Mauritius, etc., etc. That's only, to give a platform to others to present their work, and also getting to know people and look for collaborations possible. Collaboration is extremely important to develop anything, significant, because one doesn't have all the skills required to work on a topic and develop it into technology or anything important, significant.
Thank you, sir. Now, Professor Deshmukh wants to ask a question. Sir,
Right.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I would like to ask one question to Dr. Satyanarayana, and that is for at a broader level. My question is that, sir, if you are made a Prime Minister of India for 1 month, 1 year, let us ask you, and you have to tackle some problems of biotechnology in India.
Right.
At a priority level, tell me 3 important problems
Number
and
one.
improvement
Yeah. First
which
one is
you will do. as soon as he will become a Prime Minister of India.
Okay. First and foremost thing is education is very, very important. The budget should go up for research as well as even teaching both, which is not there very much in the present time. Not adequate enough to do quality work. You see, we want to compare with China. China, where is China? Where is our education funding? China spends money that's equivalent to our whole budget. Unless this is done, the quality cannot improve. Just talking will not improve the quality. That is very, very important. The rest of things anyway will be taken care of by the experts, to say economy, etc. But as far as education is concerned, and even biotechnology also, biotechnology is a field where you need a lot of equipment, functional equipment. Without it, you can't carry out quality work. If you don't publish, nobody will know us. Developing technology needs a lot of facilities, lot of hard work, and then patenting, etc. All that is possible only with money. So the funding for education should go up, both primary as well as higher education, which must seek the attention of our Prime Minister, whosoever. And he always has one question: so what? Then if you do work, how does it help the country? That helps in the long run. For example, if you train good people, they're employed in different industries or else different research organizations or universities. They're only trying to transfer the knowledge. If you don't have quality manpower, it's not possible to achieve anything significant. I would like to do first that is one thing which I will do. The rest will be taken care of later.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Deshmukh,
Yeah.
sir, do you want to say anything else?
No. Because you see, microbiology society is going to work in the future also.
Yeah.
So we should also know on which problem we should concentrate in the future.
And now that
Too many.
Okay.
Microbiology first
Yes.
to understand the diversity. Our country is so diverse, environment-wise and conditions-wise. We have done too little as far as whole, diversity is concerned. We only culture some organisms, and that is diversity. This is nothing. We are able to culture only 0.1% of the organisms within any environment. So we have to go for methods for understanding or the understanding diversity of organisms. Those which are not culturable also. Culturable ones are only 1.1%, but you have to understand non-culturable diversity, which we haven't done too well in the country. Which people are now getting trained and then looking for newer methods for understanding diversity in total.
Archana, may I ask a question? Is it
Sure.
possible?
Sure.
So, sir, I am putting this question to you primarily as an educator, not necessarily as a researcher. Because being a parent to two children and also being in the same line, at least teaching, don't you think you would want, this is almost in continuation with what Professor Deshmukh was saying, one of the important things, don't you think, is that we need to have more innovative experiments at the school level and changes at the school level, so that the spirit of science is actually kept burning within the minds, within the young minds, because they are the future. What do you
Yes.
have to say for that, sir?
That is really very, very essential to have good, experimental facilities, and then to stimulate younger people, to encourage younger people to go for science. That is not there. As a result, they were going for now all other economics, commerce, etc. They said no science, no engineering. My daughter says so. It was a big problem to convince her. She did well in mathematics as well as other the subjects. She didn't want to go for science and engineering. She went for the commerce followed by management. So they look for also the good salaried jobs. Everybody wants money. So what is essential is that one. So experimental facilities has to be improved both in college as well as school. College, I think, is very little. There also they don't have good facilities. Not much of research is going on. Unless you have research and then get money through projects, it's not possible to develop facilities in any department. So that's why research has to be there, and also good facilities so that you can train students well, they can think of going for the science or engineering, technology, whatever. Essential to have those facilities so that you can train them well, encourage them. That is missing, I think, now.
Thank you, sir. Sir, one question has come in the chat box.
Yeah.
What is, in your opinion, could mask wastes, which are being generated in a huge quantity now, could mask wastes be converted to something useful using microbes?
I can think of only just, when degrading them, so that we just remove it from the environment by remediation.
Yeah, by remediation. If the mask material is organic,
Right.
then it is possible. But if it is synthetic, then no.
Nowadays, even plastic, there are some organisms and enzymes that have been developed recently, which can help the plastics also. So a lot of work is going on in that one, so that people don't spoil our environment with plastics, microplastics or whatever plastic that they're using. Essential to use them. First is exhausting them, or else get some product out of it.
So if we keep in mind the disposal part of these masks, the disposable masks, and construct them with a relevant proper material which is biodegradable anyhow, then we could, because this problem will definitely come because it is expected. The next one, right? And sir, any comments about the new strain of coronavirus and biowarfare, or anything if you would like to say? Otherwise,
Adequate work hasn't been done so far to assess them well. New strains, one in UK, other one in South Africa, third one recently came yesterday only in Nigeria. You see, these are RNA viruses. They do undergo mutations, so you can expect many more mutants. So generally, the experts say that the vaccination effect will be there on them also, right? Always they can develop the recombinant multi-segment enzymes, not enzymes, I mean the antigens. It will be effective on all kinds of all strains of viruses. They are very confident that vaccine will be effective. So one doesn't need to worry about it. Let's get more data, it will be more clear to us. And the companies are ready to make the new vaccines, modify the technology, and they are developing new ones which will be effective on new strains also. They don't leave. They are already learned to spend money. They want to earn. They can continue on develop the new the vaccines which can also fight new viruses or new strains of viruses.
thank you, sir.
Sir, one more question I would like to ask you.
Okay, please.
Yes, sir.
There is a Botanical Survey of India at Delhi.
Right.
There is a ZSI in Delhi.
Right.
There is no Microbial Survey of India.
Do
Do you feel that it is essential?
Botanical Survey of India, they have one unit where they publish every year new strains described in India, new bacterial or fungal, whatever strains. But they don't spend money adequately. We need to have Microbiological Survey of India. So they will be having organizations all over, regional other places. So they will try to understand that and also bring them to the public. If they're available, you can work. Whenever we discover new strains, new products came. Think of Thermus aquaticus, the source of our PCR, the enzyme required for amplification of DNA. That created history. See now, you understand what happened. Multi-billion-dollar industry.
Thank you, sir. So Dr. Ruchi Srivastava, who is my sister and a food technologist and has known you since her childhood through me, she has a question, sir.
Please.
Dr. Ruchi?
Hi, sir.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you. I'm doing well, sir.
Very
I'm
nice.
doing well. Your blessings, sir. Sir, I wanted to ask you, since you've worked in the area of metagenomics,
Right.
how could we use metagenomics and pathogenomics proactively to anticipate and combat biological warfare? Because that's the kind of warfare we are going to face in future.
So it's
So-
already news. I think China and Pakistan together they are doing. That's what we hear in the news. And the US also had, if not open facts, been trying to develop strains which are meant for biological warfare. Right? And I don't think metagenomics has been used for that purpose so far. We want to look for new genes which are not there in the cultured organisms. So you always look for new genes and see whether how are the products different, what are the various plus points they have. And we can try to put the same, of the characteristics in the known organisms or known products.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. And Miss Shraddha Karath is there. She has a question. Please ask, ma'am. Rashida wants to ask. And Dr. Ashish also wants to ask. Any of you, please kindly unmute and ask.
Very good afternoon, sir. Actually, we are blessed with your lectures, and my question is, we are the very young scientist or a beginning in a science. So, how we will get the good grant from the national and international granting agencies? So, how we will try for this, sir? Please guide us in this.
Be able to identify an area or the topic which is not much work has been done in that area, or else you have to find out a point on which nothing is available. You must have also had good profile of publications or ability to carry out work, the evidence by your work. Then only anybody would consider giving money to you. It's not so easy now to get money either from international or national agencies because of funding, in fact, which is not quite adequate. As a result, getting money has become very tough. Many laboratories and universities, as well as institutes, are suffering inadequate grants available. So you must have identified a topic which can get you money. And the aspect that you want to work on, then only it will be possible to at least to submit your application and get attention on that.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. We are regularly submitted into SCRB and DST, sir.
Right, they are in SCRB is in DST, right?
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Sir, Rashida is a first-year student and she has a question. Rashida, would you like to ask or shall I spell it out?
Ma'am, yes, sir.
I will say, okay. So she's Rashida and she has just entered microbiology just like a budding yeast. So
welcome to your first the field of microbiology.
Yeah. So she wants to know, it's a very broad question. It has a very big answer, but still, so please tell her your views, how she can make her career in this field. She's enthusiastic about microbiology.
Microbiology is a field with a large number of opportunities. We have done some bit, but we can do much more in terms of products and processes. We need all of them, existing ones and at the same time newer ones. So it's a field with a lot of opportunities, research, teaching, both. So you should only try to show, just pay good attention, try to learn the subject, and the future will be yours.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
And then you should go to the internet, see the possibilities, speak to your teachers and or teachers like us. So we will guide you in detail. And thank you, sir, for answering. SK Tarannum wants to ask something. Please go ahead. You raised your hand. Yeah, please. SK Tarannum, please ask. Valentina Umrania, please ask.
Namaste, good morning, sir. If you remember, I am from Rajkot.
Right, good morning. How are you?
Sir, I'm fine, thank you. Sir, I just want to mention here that the way you have given me guidance, you were talking in the conference with Carl O. Stetter, sir, father of thermophiles, and you are also considered as father of thermophiles in our country. Sir, your simplicity, the way you explained me during those days when I was doing my work with Dr. Shailesh Bhai Dave, sir, and that is how, sir, I could grow my acidothermophiles very nicely and I could complete my research work. So I would like to thank again, sir, for your simplicity to come to the ground level to explain me everything. How do I grow those autotrophic bacteria in extreme conditions? And that's how I really appreciate the scientists like you who are coming to small students like us. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Archana ma'am, and thank you, Deshmukh sir, for arranging such a lovely, inspiring talk with a great scientist of our country. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Let's clap for that and for sir. So, yeah. So thank you. And these are the blessings which about which we are very lucky as educators. We really are blessed that we have the platform to contribute, and of course so much gratitude that we get if we do work nicely and dedicatedly, and really sir deserves it, and wish you all the best and stay blessed.
All that has been possible only because of all of you. Otherwise, I couldn't get publication, no citations.
So I would say together we rock. Okay, so I think now I think no more questions are there, and if anybody is remaining, please unmute and ask. Otherwise, we'll conclude the session. I didn't see any other question in the chat box. And sir, one more thing, sir has always been inquisitive, and in any talk, any seminar, webinar, anywhere throughout, we all have seen that he has always lots and lots of questions, which is actually scientific temper, and which shows that he's attentively listening to everything. So we tried to imbibe, and hopefully we have done. So with age and with experience, we now appreciate these qualities of sir more and more. Dr. Parvinder Kaur is also my colleague. She's also sir's student. So she is conveying her regards to sir. Yeah. And I can, because she's my immediate colleague, I can see lots of sir's traits in her when she writes or talks. So we can spot that in each other while working together on a daily basis. Thank you so much, sir. It was a very enriching, encouraging session, and really we salute to your simplicity and your sustained hard work.
Can I express my feelings, Dr.
Sure. Okay. Please. Yes, sir.
So good afternoon, sir, Dr. Satyanarayan.
Good afternoon.
I'm so happy to see that you have the same enthusiasm, same passion with what you were having earlier. It has not dampened at all. So, and your advice to the students, I think it must be very, very motivating, not only for the students, but for us as well. Though I'm not your student, but anytime I walked into microbiology department, I thought, well, Dr. Satyanarayan is my guide. So, I mean, the way you talk to me on different topics, your great ideas, I was really spellbound, you know. And I'm also an avid reader, and I always found you wherever I went to any library like JNU or somewhere, I could find you. And that was really so good. I mean, I hardly find any teacher visiting the library and reading. So these qualities it should be taken care by the students, because the more you read, the more you learn. So these things are really found very good. And then you're not only a very good researcher, as has been said, about your accomplishments, but also you are very passionate about the subject. And that passion should not go. The microbiology passion that you have, I think, is undying, and that should be really, I mean, it should be there always. Then only you can succeed in a subject like microbiology, which is changing so fast. Two more things, somebody has mentioned that you are the father of thermophiles in India, comparing to Karl Starr. So, I mean, I would like to know that how can we improve this field in India, because this field is lagging behind. And since you are gone from the leadership, I mean, it is not represented well in our teaching. So, I mean, it is my suggestion that a topic like metagenomics and a topic like thermophiles, archaea, and all those things should be given more presence in our curriculum. And you are a great propounder of that. So, I mean, what is your suggestion for as the curriculum is going to be developed soon, I think, with the new educational policy? So can you guide us on that? So,
Especially, you know,
Sir,
more on genetics and
please, sir, 1 minute. Please, I will request Dr. Srivastava to introduce himself, because many of us are not knowing. Dr. Srivastava, please, you introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, I am a student of Professor Anupam Verma. So basically, my training is in virology. And I'm very happy to say that Professor Satyanarayan, though his subject is not virology, but his knowledge about virology is so immense and so much that I was really inspired by him, that how he could keep up with all this knowledge in virology. Well, my training is in virology, and I purified and characterized 3 viruses in plants. And then I did a lot of molecular work also. I cloned this and raised anti-sera, for which I used to go to National Institute of Immunology. And I have extensive experience on that as well. Then for postdoc, I went to University of Hamburg, in which I did the cloning of 2 genes in Abetolon mosaic virus, which is a very big problem in Brazil. And they had a very big project on in the Germany to solve that problem. And I could do that, but because of the paucity of time, I could not further continue my research. But I have been told that those 2 genes have been used, one for developing resistance and one for developing a diagnostic. So that's very, satisfying. So this is this thing, and my teaching has been of different subjects. I love to change my subjects every time and try to delve into different subjects and try to keep pace with them. Like this semester, I have been teaching bioinformatics, and as Sir has said, there is so much of potential in this field with all the genomes available that one can do a lot of work which microbiology has not been doing. So bioinformatics is a very, very challenging area, and the students should be encouraged to do that. Basically, I had been teaching virology for a very long time, and in the earlier part of my career, I was also teaching biotechnology, and then plant pathology also once it was there. And of course, virology remains my favorite. Then I also taught medical microbiology, and these are my things. Anything else you want to know?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I believe in motivating the students. That is one of my passion.
Very good. So we need you, sir, in the future.
He is very inquisitive. Goes on reading something new all the time.
Very good. Very good.
Sir, I will arrange a lecture of his also, sir, soon.
Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you so much. And I want to
please carry on.
I want to convey my regards again to Professor Satyanarayan, who has played such an important role, not only in the students, in whom I see so much of dedication and so much of traits that Sir has. And also you have been an inspiring force for all of us, not only who have not been your students, but have interacted in some way or the other. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for all such nice comments and your observations.
Thank you.
I would just like to add, as Dr. Tarannum and Dr. Srivastava said, it is this blessed trait of Sir that he never sees, he never discriminates, he's my student or he's not my student.
Right,
he's always willing to help whosoever approaches him. So that is such a good quality of Sir. So
I agree. So that's that noble thing, and then we are truly proud of that, because because we belong to Sir and Ma'am's team. So, well said, Ashima.
I also agree, Archana, because whenever we went to Sir for some help, he always helped us, and whatever he can do, he always did that.
He makes everybody comfortable and calm down about the problem, and then suggests whatever best he can do. He stretches more than that, and he's available always. Yeah, Dr. Sunita, thank you. Yeah, thank you. So such endorsements for people who are not his students, but saying this really makes it brings out the authenticity out of it. So thanks a lot. It was very, very heartwarming session and enjoyable session. We got learning, and we are sending prayers to Sir and Ma'am both, their family. They have two nice daughters, Shrutika and Kritika. Shrutika is married to Ajay. So lots of best wishes for a very happy life ahead to all. And now I would like to request my colleague, Dr. Shweta Yadav, who is my coordinator of this Delhi unit, to put forth the official vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Honorable Professor Deshmukh sir, President MSI, respected Archana ma'am, President Delhi unit, and our most valuable participants, it's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, Dr. Shweta Yadav, on behalf of MSI Delhi unit and Department of Microbiology and the entire supporting team, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to Professor T. Satyanarayana sir for gracing the occasion and telling us about his inspirational journey and enlightening us with his valuable knowledge. We are grateful, sir, for the time and effort you took to share your knowledge and experiences with us. I also wish to express my gratitude to Professor Deshmukh, sir, for always encouraging us to organize such important events. I also extend my thanks to Dr. Archana ma'am for her enormous efforts in organizing this event. I also want to thank the student committee who always work hard to make this event successful. I would also like to thank Dr. Shalini ma'am, Dr. Vandana ma'am, Dr. Ashima ma'am for their involvement and their willingness to take on the completion of this task before their comfort zones. I would also like to convey our gratitude to the participants for spending their valuable time with us and being a wonderful audience to make this session a success. We look forward to meeting you all in such more events. Thank you so much.
I would like to thank the unit for making this possible, and particularly Archana and yourself, both of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And tomorrow, this recording is available on YouTube of Microbiology Society channel.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much once again.
So a conversation with an inspiration in its truest sense is accomplished. Grateful to all. Everybody stay safe and blessed. It's bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Wonderful
session. Wonderful session.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm very happy to note many teachers of India. Just I have seen Dr. K.D. Sonone from Kolhapur. He is a professor and head. He has also joined. Many teachers have attended today.
Wonderful.
Very nice. Very encouraging. I think there must be fans.